Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to another movie review. Hope you guys have been enjoying the content on the channel as of late. Excuse all the mess in front of me. Just kind of in the middle of we're kind of rearranging some stuff in the room. And if you hear noises outside, just family is just starting to wake up and stuff like that. So, um, so I woke up this morning and I was like, I'm kind of in the mood to watch something. So I figured I'd watch The Son, directed by how do you say his name? Florian Zeller, which acts as a prequel of sorts to The Father, which starred Anthony Hopkins, and actually a very good performance from Anthony Hopkins. Went on to win an Oscar because of it. Um, this stars Hugh Jackman, Laura Dern, Anthony Hopkins reprising his role from The Father, as well as Vanessa Kirby. Kind of an all-star cast of sorts. And It centers around Hugh Jackman's character, who is just recently just had a newborn with Vanessa Kirby, and his ex-wife Laura Dern comes into the picture, and the son that they had together is having some issues, and you find out very quickly that those issues revolve around very dense emotional circumstances. We're talking about depression, suicide, some very, very dense stuff. And what the film ultimately is about toxicity. It's about what happens when a child is not safe, when a child does not feel um, wanted or feels accepted. When you don't create a safe environment for your child, um, and the consequences, the emotional consequences that come years later because of that. Um, and I heard things about the film prior, notably some performances that were universally panned, particularly the kid, which I'll say up front, that just singling out that performance in particular, that performance is questionable at best. It's not a good performance, I would say, but I wouldn't eviscerate it as a lot of other people have. What I will what I will talk ill about, though, a lot is the script. I think that it is very, very thinly written, and it doesn't really create much drama as it does, um, just circumstance, I would say. Like, you get the idea of what's happening, but you don't feel much of anything, because of just how it's written. It's written almost feels like first draft. Like, it just feels like they just kind of wrote out, an outline. Like, here's what is happening, but they didn't really connect with the characters. They just kind of just wrote something together, um, just to kind of illustrate a circumstance, but not giving emotional heft within it. Because the lines just feel so, meaningless and so insufficient, I would say. Um, and um, and then we get to the characters, and I think that the big problem that I found was a lot to do with how the film approaches Hugh Jackman's character, because he's a complete narcissist. I mean, that's what the film, I think, is almost teasing, but what it should have been doing is making it more blatant, because it's trying to elicit sympathy for this character, and I just could never find myself emotionally attached or just really sympathizing with him at all. I think that he is a very despicable character, and it's a character that never takes responsibility for their own actions. They say that they do, but as the film kind of moves on, and when you look at it from a certain confine, basically in realistic manners, the character never actually, makes a real effort to make change and to really help this person. And we get to the ending, and it's just more of a confirmation of things, and the film again wishes to elicit sympathy, and I just don't see where you can make room for that sort of thing. um, and also, I think it's, if you go see The Father and you see Anthony Hopkins' character, then seeing how he is here, it is like night and day. It is very, very different people. It's almost a completely different person. So I just kind of question, why would you then want to, have it be connected to that sort of thing, or at least, have that connection, um, apparent, like I would just at that point just make it a standalone thing, just make it a separate thing. Um, but but more to the disjointed manner of it, because that's really the best word for it. Is that it's just a very disjointed film. Like there's, like immediately when the film starts, like there you can immediately feel a disconnect from both the characters and generally all the performances. I feel are just very showy and not grounded, and I think that where this all stems from is the craftsmanship. I think that this is Florian's. I don't know how you pronounce his name, the director's name, but I believe that this is more or less his issue, um, because the film becomes overly sensitive and overly dramatic. It is not a film that is playing in a more grounded nature or a more realistic manner, and it doesn't know how to handle its subjects well, to where it feels it feels real. It feels more like, okay, let's not try to do that. Let's not try to do this. Let's not try to do that. Like it's a film that's playing itself too safe for its own good. I think that a little bit more room for some commentary on certain things. Like it's like the movie itself is afraid to make a comment on its subjects. Like that's kind of how it felt like at some points, or a lot of the points, really. But I think that it all stems from the script and just the way that it's being handled, directing wise. Because I see good performances there. Hugh Jackman is good. When he's, like there are like one or two scenes where I'm like, yeah, that's fair. It's fair work. And also the other performances around him, like Laura Dern, Vanessa Kirby. Like I could see that they're trying to bring good work, but it's a lot to do with just how this production was handled and just the script, the way it's written. It's just so paper thin in terms of how it's written, and just the aura of it. It is so disjointed. It is so awkward in design, and um, and I think that it just didn't know how to handle itself and how to handle these ideas. It just couldn't find a genuine purpose for things, really. Um, and I really disliked the idea to get to create sympathy for Hugh Jackman's character. I don't think that was appropriate, considering what the circumstance is. He is a narcissist, and to the very end, he is. Or at least the film makes this very very strange point about how that, oh well, now he can see that it was his fault at the end. You see, now I have sympathy for him. It's like that's not realistic. The film doesn't even realize what narcissists are. They don't admit that they're wrong. They will find any way possible to to not take the fault for it. Um, because that's what his character is. He's a complete narcissist. So to see to see his art going through, and the film to be wanting for us to feel sympathy for him, and then um, to then think that, oh, well, perhaps he does understand now the gravity of his situation. You know, it's just not realistic. And for anybody who thinks that's an appropriate arc, considering the dense subjects at play, I would question your own personality at that point. Um, but yeah, it's just the more I think about just the handling of its subjects, and the more I think about just those performances, and the more I think about the characterizations, it just comes across as really, really, really incomplete. And again, disjointed is just the proper word for it. Like immediately when the film starts, you just get this wave of of wrongdoing. Like there's something wrong, something is not working, and you realize very quickly that it has everything to do with how Florian is approaching the subject. It's really all him and whoever wrote the script. I don't know if it was Florian or not, um, but because one component is working, because there's three components. The writing, the directing, the acting. Those are three main components to really making a film, work. Those are the three components that are working, that are being utilized the most in most cases, and one of them is working. The acting is okay, but the other two are just not. I'll give it this. I just thought about it. I'll give it this. It's nicely shot. It's nicely shot, and I think that just by a pitch, I think that it's an interesting concept and an interesting story. And I think that if done in the right approach, it would have been fantastic. But for what we got here, I just think that it's incredibly dull and just lacking in so much substance. And I think in many cases, just not fully understanding of its own story. So I just had a hard time. Like the entire time watching, I was just thinking, why are things happening? You know, and I think that the movie fails in answering that question, the why and everything. I understand what's going on. I understand who we're following, but I don't. But the movie doesn't fully answer or even answer at all why. Why are things happening? Why are they doing this? Why this and that? And it is apparent like immediately when the movie starts. You'll immediately feel it at the start. Like just why, you know. And the movie does never answer that question. So, but that's my opinion. You guys know your thoughts on The Son if you guys saw it. I don't think the kid's performance is that bad. Some people were really ripping his performance apart. It's not good. I definitely agree that it's not a good performance, but I wouldn't say it's like completely without merit. But definitely not good though. Definitely not a good performance. But you guys want to know your thoughts on The Son? If you saw The Son, and do you guys think like I do? Like this should have been like a separate film. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about that as well. Like this acting as like a prequel of sorts to the father. I mean, do you guys agree with that idea? I don't think it needed to be that way, but let me know your thoughts about The Son and the father if you guys saw the father in the comment section below. And that's gonna be it for me, guys. Thank you guys for watching. We got more reviews coming down the pipe, so just be on the lookout for that. And yeah, that's gonna be it for me, guys. So thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye.